My name's Tim. I am the lead clinical trainer in Safe Hands Training, also paramedic. I'm down here at Watergate Bay today to introduce this very exciting piece of equipment that's been installed and provided by the OurJay Foundation. As you can see, it is a automated external defibrillator with a bleed kit. We can access this by dialing 999. So if we recognise somebody's in cardiac arrest, we get the code from the emergency services. Subsequently, we can then open the box and retrieve the emergency equipment. So within the box, we have the defibrillator, and we also have, should it be required, a bleed kit. The information that 999 will need is clearly the location. So Watergate Bay Beach, or we can use the WAP 3 words: reverses, foal, and grudges. So once we've called 999, accessed the code, and we've retrieved the defibrillator, we need to take the defibrillator back to the person that has collapsed. To optimise their chances of survival, ideally we need somebody doing chest compressions for the whole time whilst we go and get the defibrillator, or at least as soon as we return. Place the defibrillator directly next to the person that's collapsed and open up the pouch. Inside, you'll find an AED pack. Within this, there'll be some shears, there'll be a small towel to dry people off, and there'll be razors for really hairy people. So this particular defibrillator will self-attenuate for pediatric patients. If the patient is 8 years old or under with this defibrillator, we simply switch it to pediatric mode, like this. All we simply do is turn the machine on, and it tells us exactly what we need to do.
Call emergency medical services now. Adult mode. Follow the voice prompt calmly. Remove all clothing from chest to stomach. Rip clothing if necessary. Take out the pads from the bottom of the device. Tear open the pad's packaging. Look closely at the picture on each pad. Peel off the pad labelled 1 and stick to the bare skin of the patient, exactly as shown in the picture. Peel off the pad labelled 2 and stick to the bare skin of the patient, exactly as shown in the picture. Press the pads firmly to the bare skin of the patient.
So once the pads have been correctly placed, the defibrillator will talk you through the next stage. Ideally, we'd like chest compressions to be ongoing throughout the entire process of the defibrillator being applied. However, if you're on your own, clearly apply the defibrillator and follow the voice prompts of the defibrillator. Once the defibrillator is applied, the defibrillator will advise that it wants to analyse the rhythm. It's really important that nobody touches the patient while this happens. Once it's analysed, it may or may not advise a shock, and we simply follow the process and the prompts of the defibrillator. Obviously, if we're going to apply a shock, we need to ensure that nobody is touching the patient at all, okay? And we simply apply the shock by pressing the shock button.
Analyzing heart rhythm. Do not touch the patient. Shock advised. Charging. Stay clear of patient. Deliver shock now. Press the orange button. Shock delivered. Begin CPR.
So once the defibrillator has been successfully applied, the machine will advise everybody not to touch the patient whilst it's analysing. At that point, a shock or no shock may be advised. Simply follow the prompts. Once a shock or no shock has been delivered, it is imperative that we carry out chest compressions. We do chest compressions by placing the heel of the hand in the centre of the chest. You can do this from the side or from the head, like I'm doing now. Place your other hand directly over the top and bring your body weight down and press down 5 to 6 centimetres at 2 compressions a second, like this. So there are many types of defibrillator, but they all have a very common theme. They're super easy to use. They give you audio and visual commands, and you cannot make any mistakes. It's absolutely vital that we use the defibrillator and do chest compressions until the ambulance service arrives. So also within the defibrillator box on C lane is public access, hemorrhage control, or bleed kit. These would be used for life-threatening bleeding, such as somebody coming into contact with a surfboard fin, where they're going to lose lots and lots of blood from a major blood vessel. Inside the bag is some gloves, an emergency tourniquet, and an emergency bandage. So the emergency tourniquet is to be used on limbs. Ideally, we need to site the tourniquet around 4 to 5 centimeters above the area that's bleeding. But if it was the leg, it wouldn't go on the knee, or just like my arm, it wouldn't go across the elbow. It needs to go either above or below those joints. Once the tourniquet has been applied, you may then need to dress the actual wound site where the person was bleeding from. It's absolutely vital that this tourniquet is now not removed, loosened, or in any way altered once it's actually stopped the bleeding. You need to build up the clot to prevent that person losing any more blood.